Hey y'all, it's Lindsey. I thought we would do another what I eat in a day video today, sharing my low carb eating style to try to support ketosis in my body. I have already had some cups of coffee and they have all been black coffee. I am in a bit of a mentally frustrated place right now, and I don't chase numbers. I don't like chasing numbers. I think it's a futile exercise, but I have been testing my numbers as just sort of an observation after the fact sort of situation, just to sort of see where I sit as far as like my first like waking ketones and blood glucose. Just trying to get a little bit more data about myself and see how a variety of things impact those two numbers. And I have not been testing specific foods. I have not been doing anything outside of just living my life and testing those two numbers first thing upon waking. I know that there's the dawn phenomenon. I know, your body just does a lot of things, and I'm very familiar with all of that. I'm also very mindful of the reality. We just got back recently from a trip overseas where we ate a lot of things that do not help support ketosis in my body. And so I'm dealing with the aftermath of that and just trying to get my body back to a baseline situation. And up until yesterday, I have had ketones in my blood every time I wake up. Not had any issues. Today, I woke up, tested my blood, and my ketones were at 0.0. I'm not happy about that. I'm frustrated with that. I'm getting in my head a little bit about that, and I do not appreciate that reading. I did retest after a few hours. It's already 9 a.m., so that was 3 hours ago that I tested. I am still at a 0.0. Granted, the only thing I've consumed is black coffee. And I don't know. I'm just a lot irritated. My blood glucose was at 106. What? That is way high. I'm not liking that at all. I know that my body is popping glycogen bubbles based on that information. I could have waited, an hour or two after waking in order to do my initial test, but I prefer to see that dawn phenomenon just to sort of see what my body is doing. I don't feel optimal at this point in my trying to get back to our regular rhythm and routine. And I felt that way before testing my numbers. I just kind of feel a little bit mentally foggy, a little bit just sluggish, as it were. I can power through 99.9% of things with still feeling not my optimal self. I just find that it goes more smoothly for myself and my family when I do feel optimal. I think today I am going to try to be a little bit more carnivorous, a little bit more ketovore-ish, and not so interested in diversifying the foods that I eat for interest's sake, just for, entertainment value, I suppose. I have a steak that I found in the freezer that I've got thawing on the counter right now. I'm not sure when I'm going to actually cook that. I pulled that out earlier this morning, so it's been out there for a little bit, so maybe it's almost ready to sear. Just going to try to be a little bit more pulled back, simplified, as it were. I don't know. I don't really have any additional thoughts other than just that hamster wheel of, why don't you have any ketones? Should you take exogenous ketones just to at least kickstart the process, Lindsey? I don't know. I do not know. I do have key nutrients exogenous ketones, and I do have Perfect Keto exogenous ketones from their base. I prefer the key nutrients one, or key nutrition. Is that what it is? Key nutrition. I can't remember. I like the flavor better on that one. I've never actually tested those to see if they do increase my ketones. So I don't know. Maybe I'll spend a few extra ketone strips for that They're expensive. I don't like wasting ketone strips, but sometimes the peace of mind those can bring is worth the expense. What else? I think I need to go add some fat to my coffee. I might pull out some of my little butter hearts. They're butter and coconut oil hearts that I've shared in other What I Eat in a Day videos, just to try to increase my fats and hopefully tell my body, hey, this is what we're doing. Oh, maybe I should just go take a shot of MCT oil, like just pure oil. That's not, I don't know. I'm gonna go figure out my life and maybe bring you along today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lindsey. I share What I Eat in a Day videos, recipe videos. I sometimes have wellness chats about my personal experience. Everything that I share with you is 100% my personal experience. It's never prescriptive for things that I expect you to do or think you should do. I have no clue about your circumstances. I strongly encourage you to work with a healthcare practitioner, and do not do what I do. So if any of that content that I produce, aside from my disclaimer, if any of that sounds like stuff you're interested in, poke around the channel, see if you like my style, and consider subscribing. If you are a returning viewer, I appreciate you. I love to see the familiar names in the comments. I struggle to stay super connected here. It is my only platform, and I do have lots of things happening in my life just because homeschool mom, we travel frequently, we've got a lot of things that we do. So I try to stay as present as possible in my real world life, and this little YouTube channel is just a really fun hobby for me, and I want to keep doing it because it is a creative-ish outlet for me, or at least it's a way for me to sort of get out of my head and into my voice, more or less. I don't know. I'm literally rambling on, and it's been 7 minutes. Here is breakfast. So in my coffee, I did put one of my butter and coconut oil little fat bombs, and all it is just salted butter and coconut oil. I'll whip that up with my little hand frother once it's more melty. And then I have this 13.4 ounce ribeye that I just cooked over the stove, like searing it, and the only thing I put on that was some real salt. Let's hope this helps my body find some ketones. So I have decided to go ahead and use some of these exogenous ketones. This is the Key Nutrients Key Keto Strawberry Lemonade. I use these very, very, very rarely. In fact, I had to go dig these out of a tote box we had packed away from the old house. So it's been quite a few months since I've had any of these. And here it is. I do my little trick where I do 4 ounces from the Keurig of hot water to dissolve it quickly and readily, and then I add cold water to the rest, and it winds up being the perfect kind of room temperature that I prefer. I'm gonna go drink these and see where that lands me. I am starting to feel pretty hungry, even though that steak was really large and it had a great fat ratio to the protein on it. My hair is also like extremely dry. I've been doing all the things and coming in and out of the basement. We've got a dehumidifier down there, and it seems to be doing its job a little too well. So I might have to go change the humidity percentage, but I'm gonna go drink these. Gosh, they're sweet. I'm gonna go drink these, and when I have something more, I will come back to you. All right, an unappetizing looking lunch, but it is lunch nonetheless. This is 3 eggs that I scrambled up, and I tried to turn into an omelet, and it turned into a flop. So we're just gonna keep moving forward. So it's 3 scrambled eggs, some real salt, and then I topped it with my homemade mayonnaise and some Cholula. This homemade mayonnaise batch that I did, it is just avocado oil. Sometimes I mix olive oil and avocado oil, but this is just straight avocado oil. I do want to make some mayonnaise with my bacon grease that I've got over there at some point, but I'm going to use that first. Anyway, I did drink all of those ketones minus about, I don't know, half a teaspoon or so. So my water is slightly pink. So we're gonna eat this and see where it gets me. I ate that lunch so fast. I was so hungry, but it was good. It satisfied my hunger. It's what I needed. The exogenous ketones do seem to be helping some, but I am noticing a significant difference between my body producing ketones versus taking exogenous ketones. Yeah, the brain fog is still somewhat there. It's not like as intense as it was this morning, but it's still there. And I'm noticing I find it more difficult to manage daily tasks or just regular tasks. I feel like I got something in my throat. I'm finding it difficult to just do my normal stuff, whether it is teaching the girls or following up on some school lesson work or trying to manage the 5-year-old. She requires a lot of redirection a lot of the time that she's awake. A lot. She requires a lot of attention in general, and it's a lot easier to deal with that when I am actively producing my own ketones. And it has been just a lot more difficult to manage that. Also, I've been sneezing like crazy. When we go outside and I see the sun, I start sneezing. And so everything just feels kind of like a little bit swollen up in my face. Yeah, it's just been a little bit more difficult to try to keep her engaged and busy versus, you know, what it would be if I was regularly doing my normal things, feeling my normal self. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit sluggish. Less so than I was this morning. I am possibly going to go make myself a cup of decaf coffee and maybe put some fat in that. Maybe just put some straight MCT oil in it instead of the butter coconut oil fat bombs that I have, just to try to help clear some of the brain fog. And maybe I'm going to try to read. I think maybe either read or get up and do something. I don't know. I kind of feel like when I feel sluggish or I feel foggy in my brain, if I can do tasks that don't require a lot of focus, I am more successful. But it feels like a challenge to sit here and read and focus on reading. And I kind of like challenges. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. Decaf coffee, and I've put about a tablespoon of the Viva Naturals MCT oil liquid in here just because that's what I decided to do. And I'm gonna go drink that. For dinner, I decided to go very simple. I have 1 chicken breast. I did some Redmond seasoned salt here. I have a couple tablespoons of my homemade mayonnaise and probably about 1.5 teaspoons of sriracha that I'm gonna mix together there and use as a dipping sauce. And then just some water. That chicken was very tasty, and I have been playing around with Neely's new recipe for the egg white bread with the frozen butter, and I made a little cheese Danish. I hope to share a process video for that shortly, but I'm going to have this little square of the Danish, and that'll kind of act as my dessert, I guess, after dinner. All right, end of the night. We are all buttoned up as far as the kitchen is concerned. Everybody is content for a little bit. And I thought I would have a quick chat here on the front porch again. I don't usually get too deep in my head for very long whenever it pertains to my health and my wellness. I do think about it, and I think about these things often. I just don't get trapped in a loop very often of the perpetual, I've gotta, you know, like I'm worried about the numbers. I don't typically do that. And so having that be sort of my state of mind today that definitely throws me. It throws me a lot. So I know this too shall pass. I know that spending the time trying to be intentional with the things I eat will pay off. And I know that my body is going to continue to pop the glycogen stores, especially after coming back from Ireland and Italy. So there's a lot of rational thought happening. That doesn't mean that the emotions always go the same direction as rational thought. And the trick is to overcome the feelings with logic. I mean, feelings are great indicators. They're great indicators, but they're not always truth. So I think the last thing that I'm going to do tonight is have a high-fat coffee. My friend Amy over at Carnivore's Angel, she touts highly having butter and coconut oil in her evening hot tea. I'm pretty sure she uses the honey vanilla chamomile often. I'm going to be doing that in decaf coffee. I think I only have maybe 1 or 2 of my butter coconut oil little heart fat bombs that I've been using for my coffees. So I'm going to use one of those tonight. And hopefully the longer chain triglycerides in the coconut oil will reflect in my ketone test tomorrow morning. I highly doubt that I'm going to be testing my ketones more than once tomorrow, just because I do think that seeing those numbers actually come up a smidge, it wasn't much, but seeing them come up a bit does sort of give me peace of mind knowing that we're gonna pull through. We're gonna be okay. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for coming along with me as I worked through all of those thoughts and just kind of like, where I was this morning. It was not exactly ideal, but it was what it was. So anyway, if you're new here, be blessed, I guess. I would love to have you stick around if that's, something that you're interested in doing. And for those of you who are hanging around with me for the long haul, I appreciate you. And hopefully we get this all sorted out. So anyway, I'm losing all trains of thought because I'm still in that mental fog. I hope to see you in my next video.